Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out of the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy and Rory Luke. And wow, what a week of sports. LSU was able to get at least one win against the number one team in the country at the Box. We were at 100% capacity. At least that was the limit. I don't know if 100% of the tickets were actually in the stadium,
No, they
but,
weren't, but
we made it out there on Friday night. And Luffy, I'd say it was pretty awesome to see everyone back in the box. We got to meet or we got to see Mr. Carl the cat out there, and it was just a fantastic Friday night. It felt like things were getting pretty much back to normal.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a lot of fun all around, except for the game, really. But it was nice seeing the cat out there. Big fan, big supporter.
We're gonna break down the whole the 0-7 loss on Friday night, but LSU ended up making up for it in the second game of the doubleheader on Saturday. We had the NFL draft, NFL SU showed out, the Kentucky Derby. Sam Burns won what tournament was it? I forget. He won his first
whatever sponsor it was.
PGA tournament, big win for an LSU guy. And then we have a house always wins segment like no other. We have some quality winners coming to you guys and an awesome show. But before we get to all that, we got to shout out the Boot Crew Media Network. And this, I might say, is a very special shout out to Boot Crew Media. We are the official podcast of Boot Crew Media for May. We are the featured podcast. You click on bootcrewmedia.com. We are smack dab in the middle in the featured column. We're VIP. We're behind the rope, red carpet. It's a great feeling. I think May is the month of the Out the Box podcast, right?
May's our month.
What is that? What is that meme? It's
gonna be May.
That was so weird. Anyway, the Boot Crew Media Network is chock full of awesome content. You got podcasts about every witch topic. You got wrestling podcasts.
Do you think they have podcasts about witches? You said every witch topic.
Oh, that was bad. That was almost as bad as one of my jokes, but maybe they do. Boot Crew Media has the content on there. Make sure to check them out on social media, boot_crew_media, and on bootcrewmedia.com. We're on the front page of the website. We're going to be there all month of May. May's what, 31 days?
Sure, we'll go with that.
It is. I just counted.
It's 31.
Yeah. And also want to give a huge shout out to our great sponsors, Rally Cap Brewing. They are Baton Rouge's up and coming brewery. And you know what? It's power move after power move. They literally this past weekend had the whole LSU Arkansas series on the TV over at Rally Cap. They had I know the baseball for the first two games wasn't that great, but the environment out there, the patio, you can go out there, relax after a long day of work. They constantly have food trucks coming in. We talked about the blood drive they did last week. They're Baton Rouge's up and coming brewery. And I can only think with summer coming up and baseball season being in full swing that
what a pun.
I didn't even mean to. That Rally Cap is going to keep the fire coming. Make sure to follow them on social media at Rally Cap Brewing. They post all their new releases, and you won't want to miss the events and new beers that are dropping this summer. All right. Draft recap.
What an intro by you there, John.
That was different. It was a little different. It was all right. I don't know if it was my best one or my worst one. I really don't.
You know, it's consistency with you.
You think?
Yeah. You're like Tony Gwynn at the plate. You're never hitting a home run, but you're just getting on base.
Right?
Damn.
Hey, I'll take it. As long as you're making it to
Tony Gwynn's a Hall of Famer.
That's true.
Exactly. And all right. So we gotta just go. because the NFL draft was this past weekend. It was kind of like we talked about last week. It was great to see the amount of fans back there, all the crazy costumes and whatnot for each team. I think we kind of predicted it that Goodell was going to find a way to make it weird, and I feel like he did with the chair.
Yeah, the chair was weird. It felt like too much, but like
who were the people that were sitting in it? It was
just
it
like
one
random
lucky-
fans. Like
I don't.
it didn't make sense.
The chair was awful.
It was funny.
It was
But-
funny. Yeah, it was fun to make fun of.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like funny because they did it, but it was funny because
We're gonna get to
it.
it.
Make
Why
fun of.
does Goodell just? It seems like he knows that people are like ready to jump on him for doing certain things, and it's almost like he does the whole. There's no such thing as bad publicity. So like he just does things knowing he's gonna get roasted, but in turn that'll be good for the NFL.
He just like leans into the joke, but he's like one of those people who, when he leans into the joke, like he thinks it's funny, which makes it like so much worse. Like
He kind of is the joke, really,
he is, but the thing is, like he likes being the joke.
because he knows it's drawing attention to him.
Yeah, and he likes like the booing, and then he'll play that up, which just like makes you hate him more. It's like no.
But does he think the fans are joking that are booing him? I think he actually does think the fans.
The fans of the draft are unlike no other.
It's always funny watching like
the proposal was amazing. Did you see that? I'm sorry, Roy, but did you see that proposal with
No,
the
I
ring
didn't.
pop?
No, I did not.
The guy dude, he was up there announcing the pick, and then he was like, "I got one more thing. We'll quote tweet it on Out the Box so y'all know what we're talking about." But the dude pulls out a ring pop and like engages to his girlfriend with a couple of corny ass lines.
With a ring pop?
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch it. You're gonna have to watch it.
That's an all time.
You're gonna have to watch it. But
The fans are so
the
weird.
fans are they're
And it's-
crazy. I love the fans. I love the fans. I don't even think
like
they're weird. I think they're passionate.
who decides like I want to go to the draft to hear my team call this random person I have never heard before in my life?
I think if it's in a place like a destination, like if it's in Nashville,
Yeah.
then okay, yeah, you go and like you kind of like make a little weekend vacation out of it.
Yeah.
But if it's in like a random place that maybe it's not, you want.
I mean, where was it? Was in
it's
like
in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
yeah, I guess I don't know. I feel like people. I was thinking about that too, and I was like, people just want to get away like for the weekend
That's true.
and get excited about.
But
something.
like you get past
Well, it's
like
the dressing up, and like the face
Yeah,
paint and
that's
everything.
true.
That's what takes it to the next level.
you get past like pick 10 in the first round or like
well, the first round's 6 hours.
I mean, but it's just always funny. You get past like pick 10 and like they always pan to the fans and like whenever the name announced, they have no
Who it is.
earthly idea
Who
who
it
that
is.
person is just called. Like they're just cheering because they heard their team's name called. They have no, like when Peyton Turner was drafted for the Saints fans, I mean, I don't think anybody really had a clue unless you were a draft analysis, but like the Saints fans looked perplexed, but then they just started cheering.
Do you want to get to Jamar,
Yeah, we can get to the LSU players.
the LSU players, and then we'll go Saints after that. Jamar went first. That was Rory and I's pick. I think right after we said it, you probably couldn't even bet it because it got taken off. I think definitely on Thursday.
That's our power.
On yeah, we swung
It's on
it.
reach.
But I was excited. I knew it was coming. And but I was still pretty excited. I was like standing up a little bit nervous and nice sigh of relief when they drafted him.
Also, like, this has like obviously been the running joke about the Bengals offensive line and them not drafting Penei Sewell, but the Bengals re-signed their whole offensive line and then they brought in
And they have
multiple free agents.
Yeah, and someone coming back off injury.
Yeah, they have their first rounder from last year coming
2 years
back
ago, yeah.
2 years ago coming back off injury.
Yeah, and the thing about like the offenses, the kid from Oregon is, I don't know, like it's so hard with offensive linemen, like we talked about previously, but like you got to be a killer to be an offensive lineman in the league for a really long time, and like Jamar, what Jamar is, like you're gonna get a lot out of the man, and
Yeah.
it just made sense for them to take Jamar, in my opinion.
Also,
So, and is that kind of what y'all were saying? So, like, the reason why, because that would have been the reason why he would have slid in the draft is if they would have chosen a lineman, right?
Yeah, and I don't think he would have. I think Miami would have taken him
Yeah.
over Waddle instantly.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know. I mean, especially with Waddle's
I'm just
injuries.
saying that given how Joe went down last year, you would think that they would want to address that need of getting an offensive line.
But I don't think that's a need. And then you also have to look at value, because whenever I think receiver drafted top 5, I mean, you think of guys like Calvin Johnson, or I mean, I couldn't even tell you the last before in between then who's been
I
drafted
mean, even
top
the recent
5.
guys, like top 10. We'll say top
Yeah,
10,
top
like
10.
OBJ, or I mean, he slid out of the top 10, but
Yeah.
those top guys
But most of those top wide receivers
are good.
good.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at offensive linemen, and there is no guarantee you get a guy like Greg Robinson, who was the number 3 pick. And I understand that Penei Sewell is a top prospect. He might be a better prospect than Greg Robinson, but offensive line is definitely hit or miss way more than wide receiver.
And a lot of times the receivers that they miss on in the first round are the skinny, fast ones. Like, are the skinny guys that don't really hold up.
The measurable guys.
Yeah, they go run like a 4.2 and they get
Yeah.
drafted. But like, that's not the case with Jamar. He's a full grown man. He's ready to go in the NFL if they started playing tomorrow.
I 100% agree.
All right, y'all want to get to the next pick?
Yeah, next pick. Terrence Marshall to the Panthers. I had somebody
reuniting.
Yeah, with Joe Brady, and get Sam Darnold some weapons. But I had somebody say like, "Oh, he went right before the Saints." And I was like, "The Saints, there's no way. The Saints were not going to pick him. That wasn't going to happen." Like, if the Saints wanted him,
they would have traded up a couple picks for him.
The Saints put like the nuclear symbol on LSU players. Like, there's no shot that they're going to pick somebody from LSU or somebody that you've ever even heard of.
Yeah, I mean, Saints are like Ohio State only, which I'm not really complaining about because they have some good prospects, but that's just how it goes.
I thought Terrace slid a little bit. I thought he should have gone a little bit higher. Apparently, there was some injury stuff that came out, and that's the reason he slid. And you heard that there was like a phone call with Rule, and he was like, "We're not worried about your injuries. Like, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be a stud here." So happy for him. I mean, it sucks he's in the Saints division.
I know, it's just another LSU player that's gonna have
score a touchdown against the Saints.
Him, Devin White, Deion Jones, Russell Gage, everybody in the NFC South has Saints players. I mean, has LSU players except for the Saints. Next, so we had skipped a whole round. Yeah, skipped all the third round to the fourth, where you had 2 people drafted. Jabril Cox to the Cowboys, Shelvin to the Bengals. I think it was good value on Cox. I definitely thought he was going to go in the third round.
Yeah, definitely. I think he slid because some past injury stuff too. And I hope that I think he'll make the Cowboys roster.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think he's going to be in the mix for maybe getting some playing time early, just because the Cowboys went heavy defensively, knowing they needed some guys.
What's his name? The dude with the neck on the Cowboys.
Oh, yes.
The dude.
You mean Sean Lee?
Sean Lee retired.
Yeah, he retired. Yeah, and I think they cut one of their other guys.
The other white, the Borge.
Yeah.
He went to Boise State, drafted in the first round. That dude's neck is beyond messed up.
Yeah,
he's he got injured. I think he was a first rounder 2 years ago, and he's playing really well.
Van Der Esch?
Yeah, Van Der Esch.
Yeah,
that's it. Got injured that year, and then got injured again last year. So I mean, linebacker is definitely a need for them. Shelvin to the Bengals. I think Shelvin probably makes team again, like we talked about last week. He's a 3-4 guy, run stuffer. Really fits that single position.
AFC North now, LSU North.
Yeah, really.
With the Browns and the Bengals.
And the
Bengals.
And the Ravens.
And the Ravens, with Queen. All right, who we got next?
Next was Racy and Jacoby Stevens, both in the 6th round. I'm surprised Racy went. I mean, we kind of predicted that this was going to be. It was kind of like Racy, Stevens, Jacoby. I mean not Jacoby. Kerry Vincent.
I thought the Titans was a good fit for Racy because they seem to play like that big physical brand of football. And Racy's someone who's going to go lay out someone on punt team and on kickoff, and he's going to be willing to block downfield. So I think he just fits in well with the Titans organization.
He also fits the type of wide receiver that they like. They like
Yeah,
the Corey
yeah, like
Davis, like the
A.J.
big
Brown.
tall, the
Yeah,
big tall, fast
physical,
dudes.
yeah.
So he definitely fits in with their type of wide receiver. And then Jacoby Stevens to the Eagles and Kerry Vincent to the Broncos. I don't know.
The Eagles, I know, lost Jalen Mills.
Yeah.
So and
I don't know if they're a similar type
position,
of player,
yeah.
but
And where will they play him? I don't know. He's gonna have to find a role to fit in. He'll probably start on special teams. We said it last week and move in, but hopefully he makes the roster there. And that's kind of the same with Kerry Vincent in Denver. Like he's gonna have to start out on some special teams probably and fight his way onto that roster and try to figure out a role in that defense. But defensive minded head coach should get some good coaching up there and. Best of luck to Kerry.
So where does Kerry go if he doesn't opt out after last year or before last year?
I mean, it really depends what kind of season he has.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It was so weird with everything. I mean, I think if he had a good season, he definitely would have gone a little higher though.
Because I think it's just crazy to see how, and clearly they're two different athletes, two different sides of the ball. Like Jamar Chase, it didn't affect his draft stock.
Yeah, but Jamar Chase was the only person it didn't affect draft stock. Everybody else who opted out, including the Oregon tackle, fell.
Right.
Like everybody else, statistically, they put out some numbers. If you opted out, it was a bad decision. Jamar's a freak. He was the best player in the country last year, besides Joe Burrow, just hands down.
He was
best
the
player
highest
in the country.
player to be drafted that opted out.
Yeah. And so he had, I mean, he really did not have anything else to prove, whereas a lot of other guys did. And
I think there's going to be some value found in the late rounds of the draft, though, because of that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's definitely some players who dropped. Like, I mean, we saw some LSU guys like Torrey signed with the Titans as an undrafted free agent. Which is
once again, the brands fit.
Yeah,
same thing 100%. With Torrey and Racy. The brands fit. Excited for Torrey and super excited for ZVR as well. Zach signed with the Vikings.
Yeah.
And so maybe he'll be grittying down the field with Justin Jefferson next year at some point.
But like I was saying, the Saints third rounder, Adebayo, the cornerback out of Stanford, he opted out last year, and somewhere like some analysts were saying he was a maybe first rounder, like before he opted out. So could be some value in guys like that. But I guess we'll see.
All right. So getting on to the Saints, who is Peyton Turner? Who is he? And because I think that was the reaction of most generally every Saints fan. It seems like this is kind of what they do every year. I have faith in Sean Payton, and I you have to respect his decisions and whatnot. But what can we expect out of this guy?
Well, from everything I've heard, it's all like work ethic and potential. Kind of just like a big body defensive end, like we like. Cam Jordan, Marcus Davenport, Hendrickson, all big body defensive ends like we like to play. So he fits our defensive end mold for sure.
Yeah, we lost Hendrickson. So
yeah. It kind of I'm kind of upset that we didn't get an immediate starter, because we kind of need an immediate starter after what we lost in free agency. But then again, like I said this last year, I will never be mad at picking offense or defensive linemen. I just think it's a crucial position. Both sides of the ball, you win the line of scrimmage, you win a lot of games. You get pressure on the quarterback, it doesn't matter who's playing cornerback. So I think it's all like potential with him. Kind of had some injury problems, but he comes with rave reviews, and I guess we'll see. I really don't think anybody didn't say they didn't like the pick. I think they just didn't like the value.
Right.
Like McShay or all the draft analysis.
Yeah, they were mad. They get really mad when they pick someone that they weren't expecting.
Yeah,
like, they
100%.
freak out. Like, they're visibly frustrated on screen. And Sean Payton seems to do that to him like at least once a year.
It's almost like Sean Payton does that just to get under their skin.
And we were trying to trade up to get JC Horn into the top 10, which would have been nuts. Joe Horn's son. But I think Denver wanted 3 first rounders, and we just weren't willing to give up that 3rd first rounder. So all in all, I mean, Saints went defense first 3 rounds. Werner, linebacker out of Ohio State, just a solid instincts type of guy. He kind of got worked in the playoff semifinals. Yeah. Which is worrying, but I'm sure they saw that tape. That game was in New Orleans. So, and then Ian Book, who
I'm excited for Ian Book.
I didn't know this, but like Sean Payton pretty much like was having an Ian Book like celebratory party like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
He was like raving about Ian Book. He loved Ian Book. So it's not surprising that we took him.
Yeah, no, I think that a couple of the New Orleans writers had him booked in our draft. So I think he can be decent. I mean, obviously James is going to be the guy this year, and Book will wait his turn, but that seems to be the way Sean Payton likes to do it.
Yeah, and it's a 4th round. Like,
yeah, you're not paying him a bunch of money.
Yeah,
or anything.
is there like, I don't know. People get upset about 4th, 5th, and 6th rounders, but at the end of the day, are those people going to probably be contributors? No. Could you remember who the Saints 4th rounder was 2 years ago? No. Last year? No.
I mean, they drafted that random quarterback a couple years ago in the 3rd round. I think they just cut him.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he ever even made it onto the roster. I think he's practice squad for a little while, cut. So you really never know. Last 2 notes on the draft for me, Dylan Moses, undrafted. Marvin Wilson, undrafted.
That's crazy.
1 and 2 player in the country.
I know you. I know you're gonna say it's because they didn't get to LSU. You think they're drafted higher if they went to LSU?
I know. I don't really think, but yeah, definitely.
I mean, yeah.
They couldn't be drafted any lower.
Also, just a tidbit. I saw this the other day. The wide receiver who drafted in the 7th round from South Alabama, 6 different quarterbacks in the last, or no, I think it was like 8 different quarterbacks in his 4 years or 3 years starting. So be good at maybe some sneaky value on a guy like that. The Saints are usually pretty good with the wide receivers and the undrafted free agents.
Yeah, and the thing about the
that.
Saints too, last thing, their roster's been good, right?
Yeah.
Over the last 10 years, let's say, and it's hard for late round picks to make a team when the roster's already good,
Yeah.
Like that's another thing people don't really think about.
It says something about like we're obviously good
doing
at drafting.
it the right way. Yeah, exactly.
So I trust the Saints. I mean, I think with Peyton Turner, people look at Peyton Turner and they see Marcus Davenport, and that kind of makes them upset. But different kid, we'll see how it plays.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to see how it plays out this year. But let's move on to former LSU Tiger, Mr. Sam Burns. Found out what tournament he won, the Valspar Championship, first PGA Tour title. The dude's 24. The upside on the guy is outstanding, and this will be the first of many wins.
I mean, he's our age, and to win a tour event like I
thought, I didn't even think about that. I said 24. I did not think I was that old or young.
And you get so much. People see like, oh, he won the 1.2 million, but a tour exemption to 2023, and he's going to play in the Masters, the PGA, the Open Championship. He's going to get to play in the majors. He gets 500 FedEx Cup points, which moves him into the top FedEx Cup playoffs, which just allows for an extreme amount of money to be made at the end of the year. And it's crazy. I mean, he won at a young age, and he's a serious contender in these big tournaments because he hits it far, and his short game is so good for his age.
You think he got any like free gas cards? Because isn't Valspar like
Valspar is paint?
No, but I know he took a private jet home, so that's
what's
Might be
Chevron,
No, it starts with a V.
Shell,
Valero.
Valero.
Yeah, Valero
On
Texas
Highland.
Open.
He probably went to Valero on Highland. Do you think?
but they gave him.
I mean, he went to LSU. Did he go to Valero on Highland? He probably did freshman year.
They gave him all kind of paint though, all kind of paint, camo paint for his house. I just saw you wearing a camo hat. I just thought of that. But
how would camo paint even work?
I think it mixes. But I'm not big.
But it would mix, wouldn't it mix in the?
You'd have to have like wallpaper, but
yeah.
Right, let's keep.
It's like oil and water. How they don't separate.
Yeah. Okay. So you have like two different.
It's more of a pastel. No, I don't know. All right. So, last thing I had new news. The Kentucky Derby was this past weekend. It actually, like, I always love whenever they show the pan out of the whole city, the whole center of, just
the Derby.
Thousands of people. Yes. Yeah. Like, and all the famous people walking up in those kind of old school outfits and whatnot, hats. It looked incredible. And, the horse that won at 12-1 odds, Medina Spirit, it's incredible. But at the same time, you have Bob Baffert. Everyone should have known that. Like, everyone should have known bet on Baffert's horse.
Yeah, Bob Baffy, the GOAT. Medina Spirit took us home.
He's that guy. You don't know who that is? Every year at the Derby, he's the white-haired guy with the circle glasses.
Yeah.
It's the one that, like, as soon as the horse passes the finish line that wins, they show him immediately.
He's like the GOAT trainer. So like if you have him, watch out. If you have Baffy, you gotta you always gotta throw a little something on the Baffy horse.
I'm taking mental notes.
I was not able to convert at the Derby. I'm always a sucker for the names. I liked Hot Rod Charlie. I think that was the
everyone in Louisiana.
That was the favorite. We're right, because
he won
that horse won the Louisiana Derby. But I didn't even know that until after I looked at the name, Hot Rod Charlie. And I think that was the favorite that wasn't the favorite, right? So the favorite wasn't even close. Generally, I put a little bit of money on the favorite. But
do any like exactas, trifectas, maybe box them?
I don't know enough about that, but I really want to get into it. So maybe we'll have to go out to the track and practice.
I've been there to the track. It's a good time.
This summer in New Orleans. But you know who kind of reminds me of Bob Baffert is Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. He is the best at what he does. And, like I said, like we were
saying, there was a Louisiana Derby for real estate, Blaine Loop would win it.
Right. And like we were saying, Bob Baffert, I believe, if I read this correctly earlier, Bob Baffert has won or been the trainer of the horse that's won 7 Kentucky Derbies. He was the trainer of the 2 horses that won the Triple Crown, American Pharaoh, and I forget the other's name. But this is what Blaine Loop is doing in the real estate game. He's Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. Is that thunder? Dude, I feel like I'm like breathing into the mic. Do y'all hear that?
I hear that too. I don't know what that
thunder.
is.
It's thunder.
Thunder. All right. Well, I know what our outro song is going to be. Sorry, that scared me a little bit. But anyway, Blaine wants you to know that interest rates are at an all-time low and the real estate market has never been hotter. At the speeds these homes are selling right now, you're going to need a certified professional like Blaine. He'll help you navigate your way to the house of your dreams. He'll be your friend, your neighbor, and your agent. Make sure to call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. That's 504-858-0031. And Rory, Keller Williams is an equal opportunity housing partner. Each office is independently owned and operated. All right. And that gets our weekend recap of LSU series against Arkansas, the number 1 team in the land, at the Box, full capacity. Friday night, the Tigers came out, and Luffy, me and you were out there. It was actually a kind of a boring game up until about the 6th or 7th inning. Both pitchers had a no-hitter going. I think what might have ended the no-hitter, I think, was it you that brought it up that there might be a no-hitter?
No, it wasn't me. It was somebody we were with, though.
Do we want to call him out?
I don't know. That's up to you.
We're not going to mention any names, but somebody that we were sitting with at the game mentioned that both pitchers had a no-hitter going.
Wait, if I guess it, will you say yes?
Yeah.
Was it Nick?
Yeah. Nick messed up the entire no hitter, which was good for Arkansas because LSU.
You
broke
think
his
there's ever
no-hitter
been
curse.
2 pitchers that had a no hitter?
I don't. Is that
Probably not.
no,
Maybe.
yeah, I
I
don't.
mean, it's possible.
I don't know.
possible.
We're gonna have to look that up. But Marceau did exactly what he's been doing for literally the whole season. I can't think
Yeah.
of one
He's
really
been
bad
an
outing that he's had.
absolute stud all season. For him to be 4-4 is embarrassing for the rest of the team. It is embarrassing for the rest of the team. I mean, he was so good throughout the entire game.
And
No help.
It just like, sorry to cut you off, Luffy, but
No, you're good.
it sucks because the
Bruh.
reason, like,
Dude.
the only reason
It's
he
like a
got hit
haunted
around
episode.
like that is because he has to stay in there so long.
Yeah.
Like, every time he pitches, you need 100 pitches out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, he
you
gave
need
up
7 or
and-
8 innings.
and that's how many
and
he pitched.
they will refuse to take him out unless 7 or 8 innings.
And he's giving it to us. I mean, he's giving it to us most of the time.
And like,
too.
the thing is, if you had a solid bullpen and you could get 6 innings out of him and they just turn it over to the bullpen, I mean, they might score 1 run, but of course, the LSU bullpen is terrible.
I mean, he had, like you said, to kind of back that up with stats, he had a no-hitter going into the 7th inning, and he ended the game at 7 innings, didn't even go in another third with 4 hits. So he gives up 4 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 100 pitches. I mean, the dude's gassed by the end of that.
Yeah.
It's time to take him out, and you have nobody to go to.
Yeah, and when we got down to it kind of seemed like Minari threw in the towel a little bit.
Then, I mean,
Like he came in for 2/3 of the inning, then he pulled Fowler in for a third, and then ended the game with Brady. Like it
did. Yeah, I mean, he threw in the towel with those 3 pitches, with those 3 pitchers. Which, I mean,
is
the way
that the right move going
the offense, but I mean, the way the offense looked, and then
it's hard to say.
You have Arkansas bring in that relief pitcher that
no one's hitting.
Yeah, I mean, the dude, I think he has allowed 1 earned run all year, or maybe 2.
Yeah, the Cops.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, like, you might as well throw in the towel because you're not hitting that dude.
But we had an
opportunity.
I
hate that attitude and everything about that. But I'm almost tempted to agree with you just because LSU knew going into this weekend. I mean, you're playing Arkansas, who has not. What was it, Rory? They haven't lost
a series all year.
They haven't lost a series all year. So to win 1 game out of the 3, honestly, as horrible as it sounds, that was the goal this weekend.
Yeah, not get swept
at best, right? So. And then I guess we'll go ahead and move on to Saturday doubleheader.
Shout out to Mikael Hilliard. And we talked about this with Chris Reed, the doubleheader thing. It was 2 9-inning games, which is much better. Kind of gives you like a reset. But shout out to Mikael Hilliard throwing 5 very good innings. LSU playing really good defense behind them and getting an important win Saturday night, 100%. Not getting swept and just getting that extra SEC win for the record is huge. Now you're 7-15, I believe.
Yes.
So
7-14.
And to
7-14, you have to sweep 2 of our final 3 and win the next series, but you do that and you have a winning SEC record.
Yeah, and Hilliard was in command.
100%.
Which is where he's been. Like when he's off, that's where he's off, really. His stuff is good, and the defense behind him, like you said, was good. And I think he felt comfortable out there. He looked comfortable out there for the first time, really. And I think maybe starting helped him out some. So I think you'll probably see him start there going forward.
I wouldn't be surprised if he starts next Sunday. I mean, why not after that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to give it to him again. And he is that kind of guy that you're going to need the defense behind him because he is a ground ball pitcher. He's not there to strike a bunch of people out. But, I mean, if we're going to play that level of defense and we're going to do that behind him, I mean, we don't really have anybody else on Sunday right now. Nobody else has shown anything. I mean, we've had Money, Edwards, Helmers, everybody try to trot out there, and nothing really has worked out. So we need that Sunday guy. And if he can be Hilliard for these next 3 series, That'd be amazing.
So the next three SEC series, we're not even going to talk about midweek games because they don't matter anymore. And LSU's undefeated in the midweek, but
Well, wait. I was gonna say 2 midweek games left. If we win both those, is this the greatest season of all time?
No,
Are we sure?
no, yeah.
Because I thought
Undefeated.
midweek games mattered,
And
and we go undefeated.
They went in the span of a year to not mattering at all.
and did our game versus La Tech get canceled?
No, we beat them.
Because they're one of the best teams in the country right now. They're going to host a regional as of now.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't get credit for beating them, but we beat them. I mean, again, that's like us.
Sweet.
That's like UL saying that they beat us, but I'm just
So
saying
now
La
Tech's claiming it was just a weekday game
Exactly.
instead of the opposite.
This is true.
All right, so looking at the rest of LSU's SEC schedule, there's no more, I guess, just juggernauts that we're
Not
playing.
at all.
These are all manageable series.
This
We
is
have-
the
we have-
bottom 3 of the SEC, 100%, or
Right.
bottom 4.
We got Auburn next weekend, Bama the weekend after that at the Box, and then at A&M. I mean, everyone's been waiting for LSU to, I guess, turn it on, and I don't know if I would even necessarily call it that, but now is the time if you want to even have a chance at playing in the postseason and making some sort of run, playing in a regional and whatnot. This is where this matters more than anything.
Well, I mean, first, if they want to play in the SEC tournament, if they don't want to be the bottom 2 team in the conference, they need to show out and win these series. But I mean, you're right. For us to have a chance, we need probably a sweep and 2. We need to win all 3 series and have a sweep in there, and then it'll be very questionable.
That sounds like a tall order.
2 sweeps and winning one, I think we have it. But
It's gonna be tough.
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a lot. This week we have
okay. One little thing about we will mention one thing about the midweek game. Dude,
Are we saving here, John?
Thunder.
I'm frightened. Now I think Luffy, you wanted to say one thing about the midweek game against Southern last night. If there was one thing you had to say that was just cool about that game.
Yeah, Matt Beck, number 8, getting a hit. Good for him. I'm sure he's had a tough season. Gets to 8, doesn't pitch, doesn't get to pitch really at all this season with the injury. So good for him. Good moment for him getting a base hit.
Batting 1,000.
Batting 1,000.
All right, now let's clean up. Let's do a little cleanup before we get to this weekend series. We do have some.
Everybody.
I used to hate when there was that one kid, and you're just tired and you don't feel like cleaning up at all. And he was the one singing that. And you were like, dude, you need to shut up right now because nobody wants to be cleaning up and nobody wants to hear you singing. But Luffy, if we needed to clean up something or help us put on an event, do we know
Workbox. You got to call Workbox. Listen, we said last week the virus is over. Tailgating is back this year. It's already back at baseball. If you have any type of event, if you need a storage container for any type of project,
this house is about to fall down.
and listen, if this house falls down, a tree comes down in this house, you have damage to the house.
Right, and you would need a Workbox dumpster.
Yes, you would need
all of the damaged stuff.
Yes, and you would need one for the rebuilding.
Yeah, you need a trailer too.
Okay, I do not like that analogy, but for the sake of Workbox, I'll take it.
But if you need porta potties, luxury restroom trailers for any type of event or party, storage containers, they're the best in the business. The cleanest porta potties. Of course, we say that every week.
I mean, the luxury restrooms, I mean, you might as well be sitting on like a golden throne in there.
Yeah, they're serious. If you're really throwing a nice party or really want to impress the people you invite, you got to call Martine at Workbox at 225-343-4886. John?
Beautiful.
All right. LSU, big series this weekend at Auburn. It's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Once again, not a huge fan of it, but it'll give us something to watch Thursday night, Thursday evening, and whatnot. We 100% need to win the series, and probably need to go ahead and sweep.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough one. Auburn just probably had their best series of the year last weekend against UGA. First SEC series win. Scored 19 runs in the final 2 games, so they're coming in hot. One thing about Auburn is, don't you think it's weird that Auburn is in Auburn, Alabama? Like,
No.
you think this? What came
Is
first?
he off?
The
He's off
city,
tonight.
the city, or the university?
Wait, say that again?
All right, Auburn is in Auburn, Alabama, right?
Got to be the city, huh?
What came first, city or university?
The university?
But Luffy says city. I don't know.
Which one is it?
I don't know.
Dude, it was definitely the city, right? I just thought that was a trick question.
Me too. At first, I kind of thought it was. But
No, I don't know. It's an open-ended question for discussion.
Is this
like
what
the
we're-
chicken or
Is
the
this
egg?
what we've been reduced to? Instead of talking about baseball, LSU baseball stats, we're throwing riddles out there that don't even have an answer.
it's been a rough year.
Auburn,
I'm here for it.
2 players in the top 100 draft prospect. Richard Fitz, right-handed pitcher. He's their Friday night guy. 37 player in the country. And then Ryan Bliss, who's their shortstop, 81st player in the country. So not that great of a team. It's probably the best team we're going to see out of these 3 weeks. A&M is god awful, and Alabama is right above god awful. So definitely going to be a tough weekend this weekend. But like we just said, it's nice to get Mikhail Hilliard. Hopefully we can get another game out of him on Sunday. But Friday night's the key. You have to win with Marceau. If you're going to have Marceau on the mound, you need to win. If we win Friday, everything's up from there.
Yeah, and I think this is starting to, I was kind of the mindset that this LSU team needed reps, right? So if a bullpen that's been struggling has more reps to get things right, then that was, they'd eventually get better, right? Well, I'm kind of the mindset now that the talent is what it is, and we know what we have. It is all going to have to be how much we care at this point about making the postseason. I want to see players going nuts. I want to see Maneri get ejected every game if he has to. I want to see Alan Dunn sprint out to the pitcher's mound and yell at a player, yell at an ump, do something to spark something in this team. It seems like that's been the theme of LSU teams this year. Like, you need like a spark.
I will say it doesn't seem like they've quit at all, though. When I've watched, it does not seem like they've quit at all. I mean, it seems like they're still grinding out there.
I'd agree. I'd say, and like we saw this past weekend, Beloso wasn't in the lineup. Always the first person out of the dugout, firing up the team, congratulating his teammates. But I think now more than ever, I think a couple weeks ago when LSU ended up giving up the big lead and Maneri got thrown out, that just showed that there was some sort of emotion there, because a big thing that people have been talking about, and there had been rumors swirling around about Maneri's future and whatnot. We don't even need to get into that. But what the point I'm trying to make here is that, when you feel like a team is checked out, when the fans feel like a team is checked out, the whole attitude changes. I want to see fire. That's what's going to motivate us to watch the games, right?
Exactly.
So that was just kind of, I guess, my thoughts on that. Rory, any other things to look out for as far as like Auburn's pitching staff? You kind of mentioned that, but I think you said it. Winning Friday night it's Thursday night. It's Thursday night.
The city came first.
Yeah. Did it? Is that what you were looking up?
That's what I was looking up. The city came first, and then Auburn was actually named Auburn in like 1960. So It was Alabama Polytech before.
Oh, sweet.
Just some history for you.
All right, you got anything else? We gotta roll, man.
No, I don't have anything
All right,
else.
why don't you tell us about your Saturday night, and while you're at it, give a shout out to one of our great sponsors.
So I would love to give a shout out to the House Bar in Tigerland. You can follow them on Instagram at House and Tigerland, on Twitter at Tigerland House. Saturday night, me and James were in there. John was not. John was snoozing while me and James were partying.
Snoozing while y'all were boozing.
That was my first time back in there, and it is nice. It doesn't really look like it used to at all. It's by the fall, once they move those tables out of there and it really gets to full capacity, no restrictions, the place is gonna be popping. The outside is actually like super nice. The outside gets way more use than it used to. The outside was always kind of trashy before, but now it's beautiful. I mean, it was.
I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
I don't know. I'll be in there probably next week, and then most of the summer, Thursday, Saturday nights, mixing it up on the ones and twos.
Turning the turntable.
DJ Raw Dog, go see him.
Come see me.
Wait, did you change your name or is that...
No, that's just what Stinson calls me. So Luffy calls me that.
Wow.
I actually originally thought that's what it was. So
That's what Stinson thought it was too.
Oh,
Like
really?
that's what he told when Stinson was managing Uncle Earl's. He told the people that my name was DJ Raw Dog. Like that's what they had on their calendar, DJ Raw Dog.
Wow.
So
Okay. Well,
last week, House always wins. Me and James got the win. That's 2 for me. What is that? Is this Fire Shot right here? Or was last week Fire Shot? I don't know. I haven't played beer pong in forever. My brain is all over the place right now.
yeah, I can tell.
I just tweeted out the pick because it's tomorrow at 2, or when you're listening to this, it's at 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Real Madrid pick 'em plus 140 for my non-soccer folk. Pick 'em means Real Madrid win, you win. If it's a tie, it's a push. So Real Madrid pick 'em plus 140, or if you're feeling juicy, money line plus 234. This game they tied last week, or yeah, last week they played last week. They tied last week. I don't know. Real Madrid's a good soccer team against Chelsea. Hate to pick against the American, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Luffy?
all right, there's pretty much nothing good this weekend to bet on, which sucks. But I'm gonna pick a future. I'm gonna try to give you a little bit better future than the Celtics. I'm gonna go Saints to win the division plus 250. That's what it is on my phone. It might be a lot better odds at the casino. Who dat? The Bucks.
I kind of
suck.
like that. I mean, just to talk
Go ahead.
real quick.
Keep talking.
The Saints won the division last year. Bucks won the Super Bowl. Saints won the division.
Yeah, I know.
And Jameis Winston might be.
The Saints own the division. Saints are winning the division again this year.
I'm about to go lock that in.
Don't do anything.
All right. All right. So last week, I didn't think this could lose. Dude, I can't stand thunder and lightning, man. Anyway, so last week I picked Mr. Irrelevant to be an offensive player. Of course, naturally, it was a defensive player. That's a loss there, but I'm coming back strong this week. This is kind of just a gambling strategy that I stick to. I am picking the over 6.5 runs tomorrow night. So get this locked in early. We're going to drop this to where everyone will have plenty of time. The Pirates and the Padres are playing tomorrow night. Darvish is pitching against Brubaker. And anytime I see an over-under in baseball that is 7 or less, I always take the over. And my thought process is that one of the two teams pitcher is going to have a meltdown. They can't both pitch great all the time. So make sure to lock that in.
I like that.
I'm really confident that we have 3 winners this week. And I think that about does it for the House Always Wins segment and our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. We cannot thank y'all enough. Summer is here. Summer is here. Sweet summertime is here. Make sure to check us out on bootcrewmedia.com. We are the featured podcast of May. We're going to own May. It's going to be a great month. It's May. It's not going to be May. It's May. Also, shout out to Rally Cat Brewing, Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty.
Tomorrow's Cinco de Mayo.
The House Bar in Tigerland, Workbox LLC.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
I'm going to drink a margarita tomorrow. And probably eat a taco. What are you going to do, Rory?
Study. I have an exam on Thursday.
Well, that's not fun.